Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Charlene Margot, and I'm co-founder of nonprofit The Parent Venture that brings you this program, the Parent Education Series, now in its 19th year. We also offer monthly parent forums in English and Spanish. Today's event is in English, and we are delighted to have with us Dr. Eran Magen, who's going to be talking with you about getting through the holidays as a single parent.
Alrighty, so I'm going to talk a little bit about some thoughts about how to get through the holidays as a single parent. I want to start off by saying, good for you for being here and thinking about this proactively. I think this is great. I think that single parenting is hard, can be hard. The times that you're with the kids and the times that you're without the kids have their own separate challenges. And so just start off by I just want to start off by saying you're doing a good job. This is hard. It doesn't need to be perfect in order to be good. The fact that you're here and spending time thinking about this and thinking how to do this well for yourself and for your kids is great. You're already off to a very good start. Today, I'm going to talk about holiday season, which I guess primarily in the US people think about Christmas, but of course it's a bunch of other holidays as well. And it can be a tough time. It can be a tough time because there's such a focus on togetherness in general during winter holidays. I think that's how the whole pagan tradition started, right? It's dark and long and you're kind of alone and you want some lights and people to laugh with and ideally high caloric food to keep you happy and going through the winter. And when we're not with people that we love very much, say, for example, our kids, it can get really sad. And so it can be sad, of course, for us if we're parents and we're not with our kids who we love very much. It can also be tough if we're single parents and on our own trying to manage slash deal with slash enjoy slash have a meaningful time with kids and it's just us juggling this. And then, of course, it can be hard for the kids as well when they're apart from one of the parents for some of the time. And so some thoughts about how to make this a little bit easier. These are the ingredients, and then I'll talk about kind of the recipe. But generally speaking, I would say here are things that we can do when we anticipate this kind of challenge or when we're in the middle of it. So one is to plan how things are going to go. I'm going to go into detail into all of these, connecting with other people as we go through it, working to improve, just the idea of like, next time I'll do it better. And then also a good, healthy dose of embracing reality, because sometimes it's just not going to be perfect. And that's learning to be okay with that is important. Now, I make this as though it's a list and as though separate activities are connected to separate, ingredients. But in reality, it's all a big mush, right? We do many things that touch on many of these ingredients. I'm going to try to separate them out, but know that I'm thinking about all these things as very much connected. The separation is just for kind of didactic purposes, just to make this a little easier to digest. So when we are away from the kids that we love so much during a season that emphasizes togetherness and all of the songs at Target are about, how much people are spending time together and we see families around us, what do we do? So following these four ingredients: plan, connect, improve, and embrace. As far as planning goes, it's worth starting out a little in advance to coordinate with the co-parent, figuring out when are good times to connect with the kids, right? Because even if they're not with us, maybe we can talk with them on the phone or FaceTime or actually see them for a little bit. However it can work, right? It's a good idea to coordinate this in advance and not do it last minute, like most things having to do with co-parenting. Right, so just think about what the schedule looks like, coordinate with the other parents, see what can work. It's very possible that even if on the date itself you don't have the kids, or even on the week itself, you could, if it's important for you to celebrate a particular holiday or have a particular tradition, just do it off date. It's not a big deal. The kids will love it. It's totally fine, right? For them, who does not want another day of Christmas? Who does not want another day of gift giving or another day of eating delicious oily foods? It's okay. So just plan a separate date to do it, because that's what you do, because that's part of reality. The kids are not with both parents during a specific date. And so you split it, just like you might also have another birthday celebration or another anything that might happen. In terms of things for yourself, it's very important to schedule things that you can do that make you feel good during this time, right? So you can schedule activities with friends or with family that are around, or maybe that are far. Maybe this is a travel opportunity for you as well. There are also probably events in the community. And barring all this, there's stuff that you can do on your own. So with friends and family, um, I guess we'll get to this in the connect part as well, because again, they're all interlinked, but it's perfectly fine to invite yourself over, right? See if you can join or invite people to join you. It's great. If you want to check out things that are happening in the community, most towns have stuff going on. And you can go to like a general kind of event, do a little bit of online research and find your town's, park and recreation or events, or type in the name of your town and write events or celebration for December or whatever month you're looking at, and stuff will pop up. If you're part of a larger community, whether it's your, you know, jujitsu class, your art class, or a church or a synagogue, they will likely have events. Go there. It's nice to be with people. It helps. It feels better. And then there's, of course, all kinds of activities that you can do on your own, which we can touch on as well. Connecting with other people. It's such a major piece, again, because so often a big part of what feels bad about spending the holiday season alone is that we're alone. And even if we can't be specific with specific people we want to be with, being with other people feels better often, right? And so scheduling this again in advance, not waiting for the last minute, which feels even more awkward, but in advance, reaching out to friends, reaching out to a family member saying, hey, I don't have any plans for this particular date, this particular holiday. What are you doing? Would you mind if I joined? Right? And pick the friend or the family member with whom it would be least weird. Um, but very often people are happy to host. Um, on the flip side, you can host a little get together for people, maybe other people that don't have other people to be with during this particular day. This can be a great opportunity to connect with other folks, possibly in a similar situation to yours, right? Send out a message, inform your group of friends, however you like to do it, right? But you can also invite others, even if it's just one or two people. Volunteering is a really nice thing that you can do if you're not particularly attached to celebrating in a specific way, right? There's probably meals to be delivered during the holiday. There's probably events that could use some volunteers. It's a nice way to connect with other people and to do something nice for other people as well, which also feels good. And then in general, whether it's during a specific holiday day or during kind of the period, right, the week that people take off or a couple of weeks or however you do it, schedule time in advance. You'll hear me say this again and again. I just think it's so important. Schedule time to connect with other people. So if you have friends, schedule to meet them on Wednesday, 11 a.m. for a walk and a lunch. If you have family members that live far away, schedule to talk with them on Thursday at 6 p.m. through FaceTime, however you want to do it, right? But just do it a little bit in advance so you're not stuck last minute, not kind of knowing what to do. In terms of improving, this is a very general point, but as you go through this, occasionally you'll realize something like, oh, this really sucks. I wish I did this differently. Or you'll realize, oh, this is awesome. I want to do this every time. Make a little list. Make a little list and then make a note to look at that list next year. So you're better prepared, right? You'll come up with ideas that just didn't occur to you before, and then you'll forget. So make the list and look at it. Lastly, in terms of embracing reality, true, you're alone during a time when maybe you wish you were not alone or you're not with the people you want to be with, like your kids during this time. However, there are many other people who would probably pay good money to be in your position for 1 year, right? And can we remember this? Can we say this is actually downtime? Yes, it's depressing or sadder, but also if I just look at it from a different angle, this is actually downtime that I can enjoy. Can you just take some time off, have a staycation or a vacation, right? This is a great time to do something you've been actually wanting to do that you can't do otherwise. If you usually see your kids, let's say you're in a co-parenting situation and you usually see your kids, for half the week of any week, uh, or every other weekend or whatever your setup is, and now you have this longer span of time you're not seeing them, sad, yes, also an opportunity. Go take a trip. Go visit a friend who lives far away, who you haven't seen for a while, right? Use it. Use it as an opportunity. Um, a slightly more productive, although for some people apparently much more happy making uh, option is to really complete a big neglected chore, this monster that's been lurking in your life that you've been kind of tiptoeing around for the past, 2 years, the thing that needs to get organized, set, broken, repaired, whatever it is, right? This is an opportunity to do it. It's not romantic. It's not maybe particularly holiday-ish, but it feels good to be done with a thing and to feel like you accomplished something during this time. And it's a good use of the downtime. I put this next one sort of as it's a little bit tongue in cheek, but it is good to talk with some friends who are really stressed about holidays with their family and remembering that some people would pay good money to be in your position, at least momentarily, right? And maybe you can support them somehow. Maybe that's a version of the volunteering. Maybe there are things that you can do to help. Lastly, if all else fails, if you're feeling sad, if you can't come up with plans or you can't get yourself to make other plans or better plans, it's okay to feel bad. It's not going to kill you feeling bad, right? You may have a bad day. It's okay. Be sad. Prepare. Get some ice cream in advance. Most supermarkets are closed day of, right? Like throw a big pity party. It's fine. It's fine. It'll be a bad day and then it'll pass. And you'll wake up the next day and feel better. And maybe you'll just have a bad afternoon or evening. It's okay if this happens. And your relationship with your kids is not gonna disintegrate because of a holiday you're not spending together. Right? There's so many things that determine the strength of your relationship with your kids. This one thing is not gonna do it. So it's fine if you're sad on the day of when you want to be with your kids. This can absolutely happen. It's just important not to make this bigger in your mind than it actually is, not to catastrophize the apartness. You're apart and you're sad and you want to spend time with them. And it is sad, but that's all it is. It's just sad and you miss them. And then you'll see them at some point later and you'll be okay. So worst case scenario, if none of these things work, just be sad, but don't freak out about being sad. Just be sad and comfort yourself in the ways that you would comfort your kids if they were sad, or in the way that you wish your kids comforted themselves when they're your age and sad for some reason, right? What do you wish they did for themselves? Do exactly that. Most of us have great ideas when it comes to helping other people. It's just hard to implement for ourselves, but it's really helpful to just turn, the telescope in that direction and then say, oh, that would be a great idea, and then bringing it home. Ice cream, Netflix, the whole thing. Just go with it. Okay, so that's kind of some brief thoughts about times when we're not with the kids. Then, of course, there's what to do when we're single parents with the kids. And maybe we're with them for an extended period of time, or maybe it's a holiday and we're not used to celebrating it, but we want to do something for the kids and we're not sure how to do it. And there's a lot to manage. I would say very, very similar steps, right? First of all, coordinate with the other co-parent if there's another co-parent in the picture. When can the kids connect with the other person, right? It's good for the kids not to feel like they're completely separate, to feel like there's contact, especially in a holiday season, which again, there's such an emphasis on family and being connected with everyone. Think about this in advance. When's a time that's convenient for you, that wouldn't hurt plans, that would still be nice for you, for the kids? It's an act of generosity toward your co-parent. If you're willing to be generous toward your co-parent, hopefully that's a relationship that you have with them, or at least something that you're able to do independent of the relationship with the co-parent. Right? So coordinate in advance. When are good times to connect? What are ways to connect? In terms of things to do and activities to do, also, this is worth planning. It's hard if your 5 days together start and you just haven't thought about it yet and you're not sure what to do. Sometimes it's fine. Some families do great in this situation, and others not. For some people, it's stressful. If you're not the kind of person who spontaneously comes up with things and they work out great, think about it a little bit in advance. Ask kids what they're doing, what their friends are doing, talk with other parents, right? Or do a little bit of research online. This can be as simple as going to YouTube and typing, what do I do when I'm stuck home with the kids? Literally type it out. Somebody thought about it, right? There's going to be a billion suggestions, not all of them good. Go through them, check them out, but you'll have tons and tons of ideas. They're all there, all around us. In terms of connecting, very similar to what I would suggest actually if we're away from the kids. If it's just you and your kid, for example, two people, and for some reason you want to be celebrating with more people, check if you can annex yourself to some friends or family who are nearby or are far away. Maybe you want to make a trip out of it, or invite others to join you. That's a really nice thing, especially people who don't have other people to celebrate with, right? But you can make it bigger. You can go volunteering, exactly like what I was mentioning before, except you can do it with your kids. How lovely. And again, schedule time with other people in advance, especially for the holiday period, which is busier and some people travel, but a lot of people don't travel. A lot of people are home doing the holiday, right? And they're also looking for things to do, right? So reach out and check and ask, but planning a little bit in advance is key here. Same thing. Something works, write it down. Something doesn't work, write it down. Something you wish you did, write it down. Then look at it next year so you can remember. And on the embrace side, it is time together and it's lovely. And again, it's an opportunity if you have extended time together to do something maybe a little bit more time consuming that you've been wanting to do for a long time. Maybe it's a day trip someplace. Maybe it is a neglected chore that needs doing, or like, repairing the bicycle, which is maybe educational and chore-ish, or whatever it is, right? But you can actually allocate time for some projects. And also it's okay to have downtime. You don't have to always be interacting and on top of each other constantly. People rest, and it's okay for kids to learn to busy themselves with whatever it is that they have lying around. And the time together doesn't have to be perfect, right? It's it's nice that you're together. It's great that you're together. And then things are going to be fine later on. Your kids are still going to love you, even if they weren't, engaging uh, constantly, high energy with something for days on end. It's okay. People have their own pace, but again, the goal here in this particular embrace phase is just accept the fact that it's not perfect, and it's totally fine that it's not perfect. I don't know how many people here would raise their hands if I asked to count the number of people who've had perfect childhoods. And yet here we are, we made it, right? And we're learning how to enjoy ourselves and help other people enjoy themselves too. Okay, so in summary, do these things. A little bit of planning in advance goes a long way. Connecting and relying on other people and or helping other people is both fun and uplifting. Thinking about the next time and leaving little time capsules for ourselves about how to do it better next time, I think is always a helpful idea. And then ultimately just accepting reality, just saying this is how it is, and it's okay. None of this is going to destroy us. None of this is going to destroy the relationship. Let's just make the best of what we have. I immediately cough after saying this because it does sound a little corny, but we make the best of what we have. What else can we do, right? And aiming not to catastrophize when things go bad. They go bad, it's bad, but it's not a catastrophe. Nothing's going to explode unless it went really, really badly. That's the end of my little talk. I want to share, for those of you who have not seen this yet, I have two websites that I'd love for you to know about. One is called parentingforhumans.com, and you can go there if you want to see. There's some recordings, actually just linked directly to the Parent Venture recordings, and some written materials and a newsletter you can join if you want. And then the Divorcing Dads Project is specifically for divorcing dads, and giving them tools and resources to stay connected with kids and to live a life that's happy and satisfying for them as well. So you'll find all three of these bullets in either of the websites. That's it. That's all I got for this. I'm happy to have more of a discussion-y conversation, answer questions or hear thoughts from anybody that has them.